monkeys, it's me, DDP Diamond Dallas Page. And you monkey, you're listening to the Potsy and Tino show. And that's not a bad thing, monkey. That's a good thing. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network is live.
LIVE.
Wow, really?
And live in color.
Yeah. Two fat asses sitting here in front of the screen.
Look in my eyes. What do you see?
Cult of personality?
I know your anger. I know your dreams.
All right, that's enough of that. Our theme song is not that. It's brought to you by Adam's House Cats, available on iTunes for 99 cents. And of course, this is Tino. I'm Rob, the Potsy and Tino show. And tonight we're coming to you from my iPad.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah, it's
you need to use this more. If I'm telling you, Apple products are the bomb.
Hey, we already got a comment.
See, probably Chris Barrett.
We got Chris Barrett in the audience. What's
Already.
up? Howdy.
What's up, Mr. Barrett?
He's trying to make you feel at home in the South.
In the South, yeah.
Saying howdy.
Howdy, because he's up north, right?
Yeah. So
I'm already in the South. I'm eating pork chops.
So Tino, we always start the show.
I ain't gonna talk my mouth full. Go ahead. What's up with you?
Well, go ahead. What's up with you?
Oh, nothing. Dude.
Nothing.
So,
Why does he always do that?
Because I'm just a habit now. Because usually there's nothing, but this weekend was something. So I was supposed to play in Clayton, North Carolina this past Saturday for a Halloween party. And originally it was 7 to 11. And they wanted me just to with the guitar. I'm like, that's 5 hours. I don't think my voice is going to last that long. I'm like, what is it for? Clayton had their fall festival. So he had like the carnival with the fair. And when everybody was done, he said, they're coming here. He said, it's going to be packed. I said, so it's a Halloween party. He said, yeah. I'm like, how about we DJ? He goes, yes. So I ended up DJing. Dude, I had a blast. I don't know if you went, I don't think you went to Clayton, but you went to his other bar. This bar is called First Street Tavern. And then what it is, it's an old house. He's renovated it. And then upstairs, he's got little side businesses, like little small business, like people selling jewelry and things like that. And downstairs, he made it into a bar. Well, the floor is wooden and the walls are wooden. So it's great for reverberation and everything. But what I didn't count on is when everybody came in the room to dance, my speaker started doing this and I could feel the floor bowing. I'm like, yeah, we're going to die tonight. and I'm looking, and because we're doing like the cha-cha slide and the wobble, and the owner Dave is there, and I'm looking
Monster Mash,
and I'm looking at Dave. I'm like, hey. And he's looking at me because he can feel it too. I'm like, the floor's buckling. He goes, keep going. I'm like, all right, dude, you're gonna buy me a new system and pay my medical bills. But it was awesome. I had a blast. I was supposed to be done at 11. So he did his like the costume contest at 10:30. So at 11, I'm like, all right, thank you, good night. And he's like, and he looked around. I mean, the place was packed. He goes, hey, can you play 30 more minutes? I'm like, I said, and he gave me a C note. I'm like, what you want to hear next?
That's it? That's just a C note?
A C note. And then, so I ended up and then I got done at 11:30. It's 11:30, 11:35. And I looked at my watch and they were I'm like, might as well go to 12. And he put another $50 in there. So I made an extra $150 on top of what I was supposed to make. But the costume contest, so he had best couples and he had most original, so the most original dude came dressed like Rob Zombie. When I tell you this dude looked like Rob Zombie, but he had the zombie makeup on, but he had the dreads, the hat. He looked like Rob Zombie. And then the winner, the couple, the American Gothic, the farmer and his wife, but they had zombie makeup on and they had their contact. Oh man. There was one nurse, she was Nurse Covita. And that was her name. And she had like this belt and she had different syringes. So she goes, I got your Pfizer, your Moderna, your Johnson & Johnson, and your booster. And I had a couple of Red Riding Hoods and Big Bad Wolf. I had this one Red Riding Hood. I'm like, you got that one from like Victoria's Secrets, because she was about to fall out of the top of that one.
That's the best kind.
But I had a ball. So we had a blast there. And then while I was there, my church youth group had their Halloween party. So Nicole took Matthew there, and Matthew, I don't know if you saw on Facebook, Matthew was Michael Myers.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he had the mask and the coveralls and the fake knife and everything. And he went, and then he won runner-up for the best costume. And then our youth pastor had to pull Nicole aside. He's like, no, nothing big. It's okay. I think it's funny. He said, but can you tell Matthew to chill? Because the whole time my son was in character. He'd just walk up on people and wouldn't say anything, just stare at them. He'd come up behind them. He stayed in character. People were looking at him, and it was freaking the kids out. So they said something. So it was funny. Yeah,
like having gone to the Scarefest, everybody that was dressed as Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or even Freddy. The Freddys are a little bit different because he's more animated, But yeah, it's always
And so he was in character, and he was just free. He scared me. I mean, when he first got the costume, because he ordered it off of Amazon. So Nicole and I in the room, and we're laying in bed, we're talking. It's like a Saturday morning. He goes, he got the costume. Dad, I'm gonna try it on. I want you to see, because I hadn't seen it. I'm like, all right. So I'm laying in the bed, and I'm talking to Nicole, and when you could feel somebody looking at you. So I'm like, I turned to get up, go to the bathroom, and there he is standing there. I swear I almost kicked my son in the chest. He scared the shit out of me. I'm like, ah! He almost got a size 13 to the damn sternum.
Oh, that's funny.
And he laughed and laughed. He thought it was funny. And he's like, I got you. I played off. Yeah. No, he did. He scared the shit out of me. He scared the shit out of me, because I wasn't expecting him to be standing there. Yeah. And then with the mask and the knife, I'm like, yeah, he got me. And other than that, I got a call a day while I went today after work and I didn't talk to you. I got my booster last Wednesday for the vaccine, and I was going to get the flu shot, but they didn't have it. So today while I was in Target, I just went ahead and got my flu shot, and I was leaving, and my manager called me and was like, hey, there's the position that I originally wanted when I started this job opened up. And she goes, I put your name in the hat and you talked you up. So hopefully I'll be hearing from the COO tomorrow and get that bump and get the position I want to get that bump and pay, which is always a good thing. And
always a good thing.
So that's what's happening. So that's pretty exciting stuff going on.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's up with you?
Nothing. No. What's up with me? So while I was at the Scarefest, I don't know. Did I tell you that I came up with the name for the third junior high horror special coming out in 2022?
I think I've talked to you since, because you came back. Was it? No, I did talk to you last. You came out last Monday, right?
Yeah.
No, but you didn't tell me that. No.
All right. So Tino's going to a better pay window.
Yes, sir.
Well,
hopefully, fingers crossed.
I didn't even realize that Chris Barrett left another chat in there already. I was working my lab late. Oh, okay. The Monster Mash. Gotcha. Yeah. So when I was at Scarefest, I was just obviously selling a ton of stuff and everything else and having a great time. And someone brought up Halloween 3, the one that is panned because it really shouldn't have been a Halloween film.
This one that just came out?
No. Back when it was Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And then Halloween 3, which was called Season of the Witch.
I think I've seen that one.
So it's all about like how like this company creates these masks that when you hear the music in the commercial, it sets them off and causes the kids to go crazy and start killing people. It's like if it wasn't Halloween 3, if it was just called Season of the Witch, or they came up with a better name for it in general, it would have been a scary as shit horror film. The fact that it was called Halloween 3, and the only time you see Michael Myers is in commercials on TV and like news articles and stuff like that, meant that it really wasn't anything to do with Halloween, right?
They just wanted that name to pull people in.
Well, it was called Halloween because it still happened during Halloween. So they were thinking they could make the franchise about different things that happened during Halloween rather than about Michael Myers. So there's a callback to it in the new Halloween Kills movie, and that's the 3 different masks that they have in Season of the Witch. 3 of the kids are wearing those masks in Halloween Kills.
Gotcha.
So it's a nice little like throwback to it. But while I was at the convention, I was like, man, everybody hates that movie so much that I ought to play with the name, and I ought to do a junior high horror special with it. So I came up with the name for what I'm hoping will be like the October book to come out
next year. Right?
Next year,
okay,
and it'll be called Season of the Twitch, and it'll be all about how the kids actually start trying to be streamers, and how like
that's cool.
Yeah, so obviously I got to really think the idea out and everything, but yeah, so that'll be the 3rd one after Strangest Things 2 and after Karate Kai.
Thank you, Chris Barrett.
What did he do? Why don't you say it?
Oh, because I'm a muffle.
Well, yeah, but no one else out there can, like...
You can put it up there, bastard.
You can put it up there.
Oh. Yes, there's no hope, so he's going to get... And that's my thing. I always speak it in the...
He tries to, but then he doesn't speak it at all. He just sits there and fills his mouth full of pork rind.
I'm hungry. I didn't get to eat dinner.
Well, that's whose fault is that?
Yours.
No.
You rushed me to get over here.
No, I did not.
I had to get over here. I want to make sure we actually got started early and on time.
Yeah, we sure did. So there's that going on with me. I got the last black and white page of artwork for the Mangolorian. So that's actually ahead of schedule. I've got the first 7 pages fully colored now. So now I've actually got to go ahead and start putting the words on the pages. So I'll probably start doing that this weekend.
How long does it take you to do that? Do you already have in your mind what you want to do, or do you wait?
I mean, I have my script, so I gotta.
You already have a script.
Yeah, so I take the script and I copy it and then paste it into the word.
That's how it works. Do you come up with the script first, and then you draw the frames to the script, or do you make the script to the pictures? Which comes first?
So
I was wondering that.
So if I'm writing something like The Mangolorian, I wrote the whole script.
Okay.
So the whole script is written. There's panel descriptions out there for every one of the panels. It's like some of them are a little bit softer in terms of detail than others, but like if I want a specific thing to happen in the scene, like there are these stormtroopers that are also Walmart employees, so they have to wear the blue vests, and there's got to be an employee of the month sign, and he's the one guy that actually hit the target.
Okay.
Like that kind of stuff. So when you're doing that, you really have to put in detail what exactly you want, unless you've already worked with the artist and you go, hey, I was thinking on this page we're just going to do like this kind of thing, blah blah blah. But like all the dialogue and everything I've already written.
Okay.
So like the dialogue for the entire book is already out there ready to go. And
so you just have to put the words on the scenes.
So I do, but I've gotta make sure that it fits the page, fits the windows, everything else. So I mean the job of a comic book letterer, and by no means am I a good one. I'm mediocre at best. But the job of them is to make it flow with the artwork to where it doesn't bother the artwork. Okay. So it's an art form in and of itself to not bother what's going on in the scenes.
That fascinates me. I always wonder how. Now that I know you, I'm like, I can ask you these questions. How does that work?
Well, exactly. And like I said, I'm mediocre at best at it, and I get told that all the time too.
That you're mediocre.
Yeah, because I mean I've lettered the last 3 junior high horrors books, and obviously I'll be doing the next one when it comes in, when the artwork comes. But it's like.
Is that cheaper for you to do it than to pay? Obviously, than to pay for somebody like, you know what I mean, like other professional letterers that do that, and you have to pay more money.
I mean, if I were paying a professional letterer to do it, I'd probably be paying them more than I pay the artist because they're a professional.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's people who that's what they do.
But Eric and I specifically do the book for getting the book out there, and if it turns a profit, we make money off of it.
Right.
So we basically made the entire job of the book. He does all the artwork and the coloring. I do all the writing and the lettering. So it kind of works out, but at the same time, he's obviously still doing a lot more of the physical labor than I am. And I would probably say that at this point, the mental labor of it, like coming up with the scenes and what's going on in them and everything else is kind of 50-50 between the two of us, because since I've worked with him on 12 other junior high horrors books at this point, we don't have where I have to go, in this scene we've got blah 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 blah. Now it's just, okay, I want them to do this, and he goes, got it. And then he turns in the pages, and I go, can we move it, whatever.
Right.
And luckily, because now we both work on iPads, it's we're able to sit there and move something really quick. It's a little bit easier that way. But so obviously, Troy and I are way ahead on Mandalorian, because like I said, he just turned in the last page of artwork for it. And I'm already 7 pages into the coloring, and I don't know where Eric is with Junior High Horrors, Karate Kai, but to answer your question, do you write the whole script before you do? Yeah, for the most part. But like with Karate Kai, I sat there and I said, okay, last 4 pages, it's going to be like a karate tournament. So I'm like, draw a karate tournament. And then I'll put words in around that as I'm lettering the book, because as I see the pages, I'm like, oh, this would be a funny line here.
Got it.
And even with Mandalorian, even though I have the whole script written, as I'm putting the words on the pages, I'm going to change things.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be like, oh, this would be even funnier here. And that's just how.
So your script's pretty much just like an outline or bullet points. Now, I won't say bullet points, but you'll change it up when you put it on the.
It's still more of an actual script, but like a comedy movie script, if there's the possibility of ad-libbing, then I ad-lib a new line in there. And then sometimes I sit there and I go, hey, Tino, is this line good? And you say, no, don't do that. And then I go, well, what about this one? And you go, no, don't do that one. and then I explain the context, and you're like, oh, now it's actually funny. Go ahead and do it. Yeah. And we did that in Return of the Walking Flu. Yeah. And when you actually see the scene, it actually makes sense. It's funny. So I'll let everybody figure out what scene we're talking about there. But there was a scene where Tino and his wife both said I shouldn't do it, and I did it anyway. I did the second one. I didn't do the first one. Yeah, the first one. Yeah, the first one. You were like, no, this world doesn't allow for that anymore. So I didn't do that one. And let's see. So
even Nicole was like, no.
Yeah, she was like, I love you, but
don't do it.
So Troy from Mandalorian and I are now talking about like a possible next project.
Nice.
He doesn't necessarily want to commit to like a mini series, because I've got like 3 mini series that are all like mostly written already, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to commit to a mini series, even though this idea intrigues me. This idea sounds pretty good, and I'm like, well, they're already like 3 books written, so
I'm for you to bust out the art party.
Well, that might be coming in 2022, believe it or not. As to who's going to draw it, who knows?
No, just for him, his own, because I know he's like he pops up in.
Oh yeah, he pops up in Immoral, but between this year and next year, it's his 35th anniversary.
That's what I'm saying.
So and no, he's like the oldest character nobody knows about, right? So. Michael Turner is in the audience. What is up, Michael?
What is up? What's up?
What's up, guys? Just stopping by to say hi.
Appreciate it.
If you have any questions or anything, we're going to get to professional wrestling here shortly. But, Michael is part of the Facebook group, so he typically has some good questions. And then, of course, Chris Barrett says, rule of thumb is that if you couldn't get a PG rating with it, don't try it. Well, with Junior High Horrors, you're absolutely right. If I want to continue to call it an all ages book, I've got to make sure that the jokes are PG, maybe PG-13 from time to time, because it is supposed to be a middle school book. So PG-13 would be okay. But and Chris Barrett's absolutely right. That's always been my rule of thumb. is to keep it even keel with that stuff.
I let Matthew read him. He loves him.
But but Matthew also at this point likes Michael Myers, right? So the idea that I still have to grab the adult audiences with like the Easter eggs and the jokes and stuff that only adults are going to understand from
like
horror
Pee-wee's
movies.
Playhouse.
Well, Animaniacs.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use Pee-wee's Playhouse because we all know what Pee-wee got caught doing in the 90s. So, and if you don't, look it up. But I do like the joke now where it's like back in the 90s, our Blue's Clues Steve was Pee-wee Herman, and this is what he got caught doing, and Blue's Clues Steve just finished college or whatever, and this is what he's doing now. It's like oh. But anyways, so we're talking about a possible next project, although we're going to try to get his personal book that he's been wanting to do published as well. What are you doing?
Looking at Michael.
Liv Morgan title win, yes or no? I don't see it.
They've been trying to push her forever.
They haven't though. She gets pushed. Well, she got pushed when she was on SmackDown, and she got a little bit of a push when she was on Raw when Paul Heyman ran it. So if you look at it, who's basically running SmackDown without running SmackDown? Because just like back at ECW's One Night Stand, the only reason why JBL's the champion is because Triple H doesn't want to work Tuesdays. And the fact is that Vince McMahon, even though he doesn't sleep, probably doesn't want to travel from Raw to SmackDown anymore. So Bruce Pritchard might be there, but he's sitting there going, "Come on, Paul, what you got? What you got?" And that's what they're running with. Like, there's no way that you can't tell me that that's not happening.
Because they'd be dumb not to use him.
Caleb Braxton.
Because when he ran SmackDown back in the day, I think he was running it when Edge and
Edge, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio.
And it was popping.
Don't ever say that name.
Sorry.
No, I don't care. You can say it, but like that's been written out of WWE history at this point.
No, they're going back now. They put him in some things.
They leave him in, but and they leave the commentary alone, but they don't ever bring him up.
Yeah,
and they won't, and for good reason. So, Caleb Braxton is running SmackDown is what Chris Parent. What is up, Mr. Helios? We've got a pretty good audience going. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the banners because I'm sure Tino wants to talk about the GameStop story of the week. And,
there you go.
And well, we haven't been funny recently, and I don't really have a funny one this week because 7 months ago, Tino, a woman by the name of Jenna Owens came on board the board of directors and was the executive vice president and chief operating officer. I say 7 months ago because this week she's no longer with the company.
What happened? Nobody knows. How do you know she's not with the company anymore? Because the SEC made a filing from GameStop corporate that said that she's going to be paid out her 6-month severance package and still continue to get her bonus, which, by the way, if she had left the company under her own accord, she's not eligible for any of that. So if I had to guess, I'm going to say that Ms. Owens no longer works for GameStop based on someone else's accord. He said, give him the funny. He's saying, give him the funny. You don't have any stories or convention stories or anything? Well, how about this? How about, and I don't know if I was talking about it or not, but my old store. Okay. I walked into it about a week and a half ago. Yeah, that's what you told us. Oh, did I tell us about that? Where the district manager and the regional manager were both in the store when I walked in? So I told that story. Oh, that's too bad. Apparently that regional manager's no longer there. Oh, damn. Since last week? No. He's still with the company. He just, they moved him somewhere else. Yeah. No more stories about the dude in the van? Do I have any other stories about the dude in the van? No. No stories about the dude in the van.
Let me see.
You have any more written down?
I don't know. Let's see.
Because there's one you were saving. You said you want.
Yeah, I'm still not giving that one away. So, GameStop has weekly conference calls between all the managers and the district manager every week, and I've always had these like bad dream. Like when you start dreaming about work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one time I dreamt that I thought I was muted on the conference call, and started saying like, "Oh, this shit'll never work. Oh, this is terrible. Who came up with this idea?" And then you looked at, but this was all just a dream. Okay. Except for some people, it wasn't. There have been times where people are just randomly talking in the background, and it's never on just the district conference call at these points. It's always like the regional conference call. So like
they just forget to mute.
Yeah, they forget to hit the mute button, and all of a sudden you just hear them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got to be on this stupid conference call with this person," and it's like, "We can hear you, we can hear you." Yes. Yes. And this type of shit happens all the time. Like, and of course, while it's going on, they're sitting there going, "Who's the one that's not muted?" And who's well, if you've got like host access to it, which in a lot of these cases I had host access, you can look to see who's muted. And even if they're not muted, like oftentimes if they're not saying anything, you don't see the little microphone going. But if they're not muted and they're talking, the little microphone. So you know that it's one of like 3 people on these calls. So you know who it is. And for whatever reason, they never seem to stop.
You can't like message them like, "Hey, we can hear you."
Well, so in my region, I wouldn't necessarily know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like I would know what store it's coming from. It might even have their name attached to it or whatever, but I wouldn't have their phone number to text them or anything else. That would be up to somebody else to do that, right? Somebody from their district or whatever. And yeah, so that type of stuff happened all the time, man. And like I said, it never seemed to happen on the smaller calls. Like the only thing that would ever happen on like the smaller calls is like before we started using like video chatting and stuff like that, you would have someone like every store would have 2 phone lines. So the second phone line would be ringing, and they would pick up the phone and push like line 1. And they'd be like, "Thank you for calling GameStop," and they'd be on the middle of the conference call. And every time in that situation, like the district manager would be like, "Yeah, I was wondering if you guys have this in stock," and it would become like a prank call, like or whatever. And then we'd all start laughing in the background, and they'd be like, "And am I being pranked?" It's like, "No, you picked up the wrong line. Make sure that you tell them this, and this."
Nice.
And that type of stuff would happen too. But the regional ones where someone would say something really stupid happened a lot.
So what's anything? I
mean, like they would just be like, "Yeah, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna get a lunch today because blah blah." Like dumb shit. But like once they're like, "Hey, it's a stupid conference call I gotta be on. I don't really want to do this, and I'm probably just gonna mute it and put on and everybody can hear them, and it's like I'm just gonna be doing like shipment or whatever, even though I'm supposed to be paying attention,
And they still have jobs.
Well, they were still working. They were doing work, but afterwards, I'm sure they got a phone call. I always thought it was funny, like with those conference calls, they would have you. They would tell you like, okay, just to make sure everybody's paying attention, when you're done this conference call, we want you to go ahead and email the district manager and let them know, and then they give you like a secret code or something to say, and it's like, whatever.
So they know you're paying attention.
So like as soon as we get off of it, I'd call my boss. I'd be like, Red Rover," and I just hang up the phone.
Just hang up.
Yeah, Red Rover. I was listening. Thanks. Like whatever. Like I don't have time for that shit.
But yet somehow you made it all those years.
I did. I don't know how. I don't know how. So, Tino,
Let's talk about some wrestling.
we got some people in the audience.
They want to have some wrestling.
They want to hear about some wrestling. So let's go ahead and start the week off right. Halloween Havoc.
Did you watch it the next day?
I did. I watched Halloween Havoc.
The next day, not that night I was here.
No. Well, I started to. So I don't know what happened.
I was like, hey, fuck it.
I don't even know how I got into my bedroom that night. Like
they text me. So for you guys, I was here last week. We did the show here last week, and he's like, "All right, we're getting up here. We're gonna go watch NXT." He goes, and we didn't watch the whole show. He goes, "I never met you want to watch. We only watched. We were gonna watch the champ. So there's only one match. I'm halfway through."
Well, that's because we were actually still we actually did slow down and watch some of the other stuff.
I hear. I was like, what the fuck? And I look over, and he's sleeping. I'm like, all right. So I watched the match, and I'm like, all right, hey, Rob, it's over. Hey, Rob, fuck it. So I go home, and then he texts me the next day, like midday. So I'm assuming you got home okay.
So, in my own defense, I said even before we did last week's show, I was like, I am exhausted.
Because he came back from Kentucky.
Well, yeah, I came back from Kentucky on Monday.
Yep.
But, like, I drove for 8 hours on Monday. I didn't even go and do what I normally do on Monday. Like, I got home, and I think even then, like, I was just like, man, I'm exhausted. Like, and then I didn't sleep well. Then I went to work. And then after work, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I am just, like, beat.
And that's how you didn't notice I was sitting in your living room.
That's how I did. Well, because after work, I was like, I'm going out and getting a drink. And then I got back. And when I got back, I'm like I was out of it last week, you know, and I was, but I wasn't drunk, but I was out of it. And then we had that shot while we were here, and then I was drunk.
Okay.
Because like when you didn't drink yours and I had to drink it, I was like, oh, okay. And by then I was like, oh man, I am just bushed.
That was so funny.
Email's the secret password, banana hammock. Banana hammock. Hey, I just gotta mute you guys, but I'm still going. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
That was awesome.
So
that was good.
So all right. So NXT 2.0 Halloween Havoc. Your favorite women's tag team won the tag team championship.
And then look, we were sitting there last night. I'm like, well, I think it's the redhead I don't like.
Because everyone who watches our show on a regular basis, by the way, make sure you give us that thumbs up, you know, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But everybody who watches our show notices that over the past couple of weeks, Tino has been dogging this women's tag team like bad. Like I'm gonna say that last week you had Reba, Rebel, and Jay, and what's her face?
God, what's her name?
Starts with a J.
Carhill?
No. The two that were dressed up as zombies for the Abaddon match.
Yeah.
And like Tino, the way that he talks about these two women from NXT, like you would have thought that he's talking about those two women dressed up as zombies, like constantly, because he's like, there's something nasty about those two. Like
ugly bitches.
They're just ugly bitches. And it's like, I'm like, they're really not that unattractive. And he's like, yeah, they are. And I'm like, no, they're not. Yeah, they are. No, they're not. And then we watch the match, and it's like, yeah, they ain't that bad. And then he goes, that redhead.
Not that redhead. But the one with the dark hair, I'm like, okay with it. We can work with it. But then all of a sudden, over the past week or so, they've been having the Abaddon with her makeup, and then without her makeup, I was like, wow.
Oh yeah, dude, I told you she's an attractive woman.
Wow.
You know, after we went off the air last week, some big news happened.
Yes.
I
don't know what is going to happen.
And you know, hopefully NXT 2.0 sees some of it. I gotta say at this point, I don't want to see any of them end up in AEW. You know where I would like to see, and what we're talking about, folks, is Ring of Honor
released everybody.
Statement is that every single contract was nullified. They're still going to do their December pay-per-view, and like from what I heard, it's going to be like all bets are off as to what happens, who's going to be champion, who's going to this, who's going to kind of like the last WCW. And then Ring of Honor is supposed to restart in like April. And when they restart in April, there's supposed to be like a true indie promotion.
But they did say people are free to come back if they want to.
Well, yeah, and people like the Briscoes and Jay Lethal will probably come back, probably command a good value, but they're not going to be under contract anymore. So the idea is whether or not guys like Tony Khan or Scott D'Amore are going to let them work Ring of Honor shows if they sign contracts with Impact or MLW or AEW or whoever.
And also the bad timing for Danhausen. I think somebody else got hurt on that last show. So there.
Yeah, so Danhausen apparently broke his leg. And I was saying that if there's one person I would actually be okay with showing up in AEW, it would be Danhausen. But the reason why. I was having a conversation with Trent, our buddy from the Facebook group, and I was like, the reason why I'd be okay with it is because I'd love to see him trying to get into the Pinnacle. But look, I have a scarf. Danhausen has a scarf. Like I would love to see him.
Did you see the
Yes. Have you seen the T-shirt? How has nobody seen this T-shirt? MJF posted it on his social media. There's a T-shirt. It's a black T-shirt with Danhausen sitting next to him, and they're both wearing the scarves. And MJF's looking at him like this. And
that video of those two together.
Well, the best part is when MJF sits there and he's like, I just want to slap the shit out of you. Yeah. And Danhausen's like, maybe later. We talk about it at a match. Maybe somebody paid for it. It's like, okay, cool. But Ring of Honor released all of their talent from their contracts, which means people like Dalton Castle, people like the Briscoe brothers, people like Jay Lethal are now able to go out and look for a place to work. And if I had to say, besides Danhausen, there's only one other group that I would like to see in AEW, and that's the Briscoes. Because
won't be going WWE.
Because could you imagine FTR versus the Briscoes?
Oh.
That would be a bring down.
I like to see Rush and Andrade.
There are plenty of people that you would like to see, but you're also hoping that the Forbidden Door, which by the way looks like it closed.
Oh yeah, they're not working together after.
The Forbidden Door looks like it closed. Or at least one of them, you would still think that like these guys could end up seeing matches in AEW even if they go somewhere else. But a lot of this talent, I think that they'd be really good in New Japan. The Briscoes apparently are already the GCW tag team champions, which means they're going in and killing people, probably legitimately murdering them. But like guys like Dalton Castle, like MLW, I think is a great spot for them now because they've got TV, they've got all the, they've got a little bit of hype behind them, and but like don't be surprised if all of a sudden next year's Dark Side of the Ring episode 1 is the rise and fall of ROH, because it's sad to think that they were bought by a multi-billion dollar company and they don't know what to do with it. And they kept them all under contract for 14 months or whatever during the whole pandemic. And then after it, they're the ones that go out of business.
Yeah.
And they haven't gone out of business, but they, they're close. All right, back to NXT, folks. NXT 2.0, Mandy Rose. She changes her hair color.
Mm-hmm.
She changes her attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And all she does is win gold.
I want to go back to that tag team match, though. The final moments of the tag team match when Indy Hartwell pushes Io Shirai off that ladder out of the ring. And I thought Io was dead. I thought Io was dead the way because I don't think. Because.
Oh, it wasn't how it was supposed to go. It was a botch.
You saw Indy's face.
Yeah. There was a lot of spots where the tables won last week.
Yes. No, that was a ladder that won.
Well, the ladder won there, but the table won in the Abaddon match.
It didn't break.
Yeah. So pretty rough stuff.
Yeah, but I think the only reason that Mandy did win is because we had a returning Dakota Kai to screw Raquel Gonzalez out of that belt.
Which normally, so the way that it looks like it's supposed to go is when the champion in NXT loses the championship, you kind of expect them to move up. But in this situation,
I don't think so.
I don't think that's happening yet. And it's possible that what they're trying to do is elevate Dakota Kai.
So
Raquel Gonzalez after WrestleMania can go up. Yeah. Or Royal Rumble time can go up, or whatever the case might be. But it seems a little different than how this new NXT in the past, like when it first started, because that's what it's supposed to be getting back to, right? Mm-hmm. And actually being developmental and everything. So it's interesting to see that that's the case.
I didn't get the whole Johnny Gargano just thing, because it wasn't for the belt. It was just Carmelo Hayes trying to get the belt back from Gargano. I mean, it was just so he can be outside and do something cinematic.
Yes, I think that because it's Halloween Havoc, they got to do a little, Hardy compound magic or whatever, and it's worked in the past. Yeah. And let's be real. Anytime that you have like Dexter Lumis or whatever showing up in those sequences, it's gold, right? So did you catch? By the way, Tino, did you catch that before Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa had their match, that Braun Breaker had an interaction with Chucky, right? From the new TV show Chucky. Well, yeah. Did you see the throwback?
Yeah.
To when the dog-faced gremlin, Rick Steiner, his father, actually had a run-in with Chucky at Halloween Havoc back in like 1990.
I don't know if it was on Facebook or YouTube. I saw they had like all the different, like Steiner, like all the interactions and everything that he's doing now. Rick or Scott did it before, like down to the moon.
Like when he fell off the top rope or whatever, and it was like they showed Scott Steiner falling on.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right, but it I think it was a TikTok. I think I sent you a TikTok with it. But the Chucky thing is what blew my mind, because all of a sudden backstage, Braun Breaker turns around and he sees Chucky and he goes, "Hey, I know you," and then just walks to the ring. It's like
priceless.
What? But it made sense because and for all this talk about like, oh, we know who his dad is, but we're not mentioning his dad. They keep throwing back to that stuff,
and they call it the Frankensteiner when he did the Frankenstein.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason behind that is he's a heavyweight. Heavyweights don't do Hurricane Ranas.
Yeah, but they're trying to not link him to his family name. Why would they? Even though it's a tongue-in-cheek, everybody knows anyway. Why? Well, they made a point not to name. They named him Braun fucking Breaker, so they made sure that the Steiner was nowhere near him, even though he's dressed like his dad back in the day. He's got the same build as his dad.
At least he's not barking like a dog.
His first match, he did, and the crowd barked back.
Yeah, well,
and
and again, I get it. Part of it is
all he needs is that damn.
Yeah, thank God he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But think about it, like how much do we hate Charlotte Flair right now?
A lot.
We hate her. Okay, she is easily the best women's wrestler in the world. I mean, there's 4 or 5 that might be able to hold a candle to her, but she elevates their matches, not the other way around, right? So, but we hate her. And it's funny because we now love Ric Flair, but we hated Ric Flair in the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
Early 90s. Late 90s, we all loved him because he was going up against the NWO and Eric Bischoff specifically. Yeah. So when you think about it, it's one of those things where you're blown away by, why wouldn't they let him be Rick Steiner's kid? Why can't he be Rick Steiner Jr., even though his name's Rex Steiner, right?
Yeah.
Or at least we wanted him to be Rex Steiner. But they could have called him Rick Steiner Jr., And then he could go by Rex Steiner when he leaves WWE or whatever. Like, because he's going to go by Rex Steiner at some point.
Yes.
It's kind of like how Tony Nese just showed up on AEW, and his real name is Anthony Nese. So guess what? He's allowed to go by Tony Nese. Pissed off Charlotte is must-see TV. So T, she's must-see TV because of her backstage antics right now.
Yes.
We are all waiting for her to just go, I have a live mic. Let's see how long I can go. That's what we're all waiting for. And if WWE is smart, they're going to lock her into a long-term contract if she's not already, and I believe she is. But then they're going to let her do it as long as they approve the talking points, like they did with the pipe bomb. The pipe bomb was set up, folks. CM Punk has admitted it now. He did say that everything that he wrote on there that he got approved, he went ahead and said something else. But they still let it go. They still let it happen. They still let all that go, and nobody cares one way or another. He got to say everything he wanted to until he said Vince McMahon's name, and then they cut him off.
Yeah,
because Vince McMahon said you can't talk about me.
Yes.
And there was one other thing that he couldn't talk about, so he didn't talk about it.
He said something like he even talked about Triple H and his stupid daughter, his bonehead son-in-law. That flew, but as soon as he said Vince McMahon,
it's like Trump cut it off. So I have a feeling they're going to do the same thing with her, because everybody's waiting for it already. Like I know we're talking about NXT, and in fact we might as well.
I want to say one more thing. About NXT.
Say what you need to about NXT.
Was it me, or do you think that Imperium is getting ready to distance himself from Walter? Because did you see the interview when the lady, I forget her name now, Liv, asked them about Walter? He goes, "This isn't Walter's night. This is our night. He's not here." They were kind of like, it sounded to me like, fuck Walter.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's the start of a babyface turn. You don't like
Walter?
No,
for Imperium.
Are you kidding? Walter's never gonna be a babyface.
They cheer Walter.
But they cheer everybody who's not a babyface, except for Charlotte. They cheer Becky Lynch, dude.
Well, because they don't. It's like a Stone Cold Rock thing with Becky Lynch. They don't want to.
No, I already told you why. Like everybody, you're right. They don't want to boo Becky Lynch, but the reason why we're having to boo Becky Lynch right now is because Vince McMahon had a wild hair up his ass 2 years ago and said, "You're gonna boo Becky Lynch because we're gonna turn her heel." And then she got punched in the face and became the biggest baby face the thing has had since Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. And they had to turn her baby face. But then when she came back, they were like, Vince McMahon gets his way.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon gets his way. And he wanted her to be a heel. So when he brought her back,
and she's
bitch, you're a heel.
And she is. She's doing it.
No, she's not. She's getting cheered. Every week she gets cheered.
They want to cheer.
Yeah,
we just said
because they cheer the heel now.
Okay, that's all I'm saying about NXT, because I do want to say something when we get there.
But I was surprised that Braun Breaker did not win the championship, which was the right move.
Yeah, he's still. I said it a couple of weeks ago. Do I want him to win it? Yes, but right now might be too soon.
I don't know what the microphone situation here is.
Oh, sorry.
You don't want to
sorry.
You don't want to bang their ears. And the last thing I'll say about Tommaso Ciampa is that Tommaso Ciampa is the right guy to be the stepping stone champion, where when someone finally beats him, they will be fully worthy of that championship. And part of me thinks it's going to be Walter.
Yeah, I would say I don't want it to be Gargano, because Gargano is one of those guys who does not need a title.
Gargano, I don't think is going to see championship gold again that he actually wins.
Do you think he'll keep stealing like he did Carmelo?
I mean, his contract is supposed to be coming up. So I think they're going to use him, and they're going to use him to the best of his ability until they figure out whether or not he's staying or going. Yeah. And that's unfortunate because he is a treasure.
Well, I hope they don't do like they did Cesaro and say, yeah, you trick him and re-sign him. Yeah, you're going to get this championship shot. And then they pushed him back down.
Dude, they told him, like, hey, we're going to give you the money. We're going to give you your first title shot. We're going to see what the crowd reaction looks like. But Roman's the guy right now. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to talk about Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, me too.
But we've got a whole week's worth of stuff to talk about.
We'll get to Raw.
So AEW Dynamite made it back onto Wednesday night last week. I was shocked, like blown away by it. But because they hadn't been on Wednesday nights in like a month, it felt like. It was only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it felt like a month. And what did they treat us with? CM Punk's first match on Wednesday night. And who was it?
Bobby Fish.
Yeah, Bobby Fish. And I'll tell you, I thought there was going to be a show of respect, like Punk had been doing with everybody else.
He tried,
but Bobby Fish is full blown heel, and I'll tell you, I really, really wanted Bobby Fish to win this match.
They're not going to do that yet.
They're not going to do it yet. Sorry, I'm going to pull up the comments. Bobby carried match. You know what? So since the Seidel match, I am going to say that CM Punk actually looks like the veteran wrestler that is really trying to get the most out of his opponent. And the Seidel match, like, he held his own. He looked great. And he's been selling that leg injury for 4 or 5 matches now, which is long-term storytelling. And it's something that Punk and Danielson bring to the matches that a lot of people don't. So don't be surprised if when Danielson comes out next week and he still looks like roast beef in the chest.
Oh my God.
We'll talk about that. When he comes out looking like roast beef in the chest, though, he's gonna sell it because he's got no choice. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I would put him in a match against the Big Show next week just to have Paul White do that. Like, could you imagine? Like he wouldn't have a chest left.
A heart attack.
It literally would fall off.
He'll pass out. Now I'll bring him back clear.
I'll bring him back. So I am gonna say that, like, you know, between the Punk and Bobby Fish match and the Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston match on Friday night.
Oh.
I don't like we talk about which is the match of the night, right? Or match of the week, and it's one of those two.
Oh, mine is the Danielson Eddie Kingston match for sure.
And old school storytelling, right? But you could easily say that the Punk versus Bobby Fish match also could be your match of the week because they were both stellar matches.
But I'm more of a hard hitting kind of. You know, I like those. I like Lance Archer. I like Eddie Kingston. I like those kind of matches where they're laying it in.
Well,
I can't believe the DNA, like JR would say.
I can't believe that Danielson is allowing that to happen to his chest right now.
Only they're staying away from his head, so we're being concussed.
The
Big Show hits, that might concuss him.
I'll tell you though, like if it, like, at this point, his whole head's just gonna like fall off because he's just like chopping through him, man. Anyways, so they set up the match between Britt Baker and Abaddon, and you know, Tony Schiavone's got to get his little jabs in. It's gonna be a trick or treat match show, you know, and then of course, you know, all this is going on.
I think my favorite part. So, you know, when they do the picture-in-picture, usually it's Mark Henry, and they had Tony Schiavone. Was it Schiavone or Jim? Who was it that was interviewing Abaddon? And was it Schiavone?
No, it's Mark Henry.
No, Mark Henry wasn't there. It was somebody else.
Oh, on Wednesday, not on Friday. Because on Friday it was Mark Henry.
It was Mark Henry. My favorite part was Abaddon saw it, and then all of a sudden it's like,
there's blood, and he goes, and back to you.
No. She disappears. He goes, well, apparently Abaddon and Britt Baker. What do you mean she's not there? Where the hell is that popped me because it was like that. What do you mean she's not there? Where the hell is she? Come on, let's get out of here. Even Mark Henry looked pretty that well. Apparently.
Well, so those that don't know, Mark Henry does not like scary stuff at all.
Oh,
we got 5 people in the audience right
now.
If you're out there,
thank you.
So Tolaga to death. It better be Jameson in that. No, it's just water tonight, Tony. It's just water.
So Mark Henry doesn't like scary
stuff? No, dude.
So the Abaddon stuff really freaks him out?
Oh, yes. Yes,
when she spit the blood out.
dude. So I listened to Busted Open, and Bully Ray was sitting there talking about how like what would have made it even better is if Mark Henry had to go into the locker room to find Abaddon, and it would have just been like a black room.
That would have been better if like she disappeared and all of a sudden she pops up in the screen with him.
Like whatever it is, but yeah, it's Tologa, which I know is the first two letters of each of your names. So I know what it stands for. I just don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
And anybody else in the audience, if you're out there, don't be shy. Say hi. So all right, let's talk about let's talk about Cody.
Yes.
So
was that, you think that promo was trying to get his cheers back? Because that didn't work. And he pretty much told him, I'm not turning. So to hell with you. I'm gonna do me.
It's funny because a couple weeks ago he was dressed as Homelander.
Yes.
And he could say he wasn't, but he had the two golden things on his shoulders, and he had the red, white, and blue, and he had the big blonde hair. Homelander. If it smells like shit and it feels like shit.
When's that coming back?
Shit?
No, Homelander.
They just filmed season 3. So
okay. Sorry. This reminded me. Sorry.
Yes, Tommy is back on Busted Open, but and in fact they took a call last week after Tommy Dreamer came back on, and the guy, like, I don't know what he said to get on the air, but as soon as he gets on the air, he goes, "Who do I need to call to cancel my subscription with that piece of shit on there?"
Oh, fuck.
It's not the first. Talking about the Tommy Dreamer stuff, it's not the first time that not Tommy Dreamer, but it's not the first time that Dark Side of the Ring has used certain comments in certain ways.
Yeah.
And that's why Ric Flair and Rob Van Dam aren't talking to each other right now. That's why, and it all goes back to that episode with Tommy Dreamer. But anyways, yes, Tommy's back on. I guess his self-imposed or Mother Marissa imposed sabbatical has ended at this point. And his, I mean, what else can you do besides say sorry? I think my words got taken out of context.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can apologize directly to the woman that feels like she was sexually assaulted by Ric Flair. I guess you could do that, but we'll leave that alone. The Cody thing, to me, Tino, I think he knows that he's going to be heel, and he's going to be John Cena heel, where he thinks he's the John Cena of AEW when in actuality he's the Miz of AEW. I mean, look at the.
But they're cheering the Miz now too. And I see what you're saying, but
the Miz is a joke, which is why they laugh. They don't necessarily cheer the Miz, but when the Miz wants to be cheered and he's supposed to be a babyface, he does get mild cheers. When he's being a dick heel, he gets booed.
Yeah.
But look at what he does. He does all the promotional appearances for the WWE. He's got his own TV show where it's all his family doing everything. He's on Dancing with the fucking Stars right now. Like, he is willing to do anything for that company, and everybody that sits there and says this guy isn't hardcore or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it all goes back to that conversation between the Miz and Bryan Danielson when they were on Talking Smack that one time, and he said, "I've been here for 10 years and I've never been injured. I've never injured one of my coworkers, and you sit there and say that I don't love this business as much as you would," and he wanted to say fuck you.
Yeah.
But then he said you think that you're better than me? Go get cleared and work somewhere else. Well, guess what Bryan Danielson did?
He got cleared and worked.
He got cleared. He worked for WWE. He main evented WrestleMania, and now he's working somewhere else. But the Cody thing, like, I don't think Cody is gonna get over the way that people want him to, because he's always the guy that goes up against whoever the newest star in the company is. And what's gonna happen when you bring somebody in, even if they're supposed to be a heel? They get pops. It's like, oh shit, they brought Nick Gage. Well, in AEW, if there's one guy that should get booed out of the building as soon as he walks in the door, it should be Nick fucking Gage. But what happens? Nick Gage sits there and And then on top of that, instead of trying to get the people to hate him, because when he came out with MJF, who is the only guy that gets booed.
Yeah.
He sits there and he's like pulling in the crowd
Pandering.
noise. He's pandering to them when he's supposed to be sitting there taking out that pizza cutter and cutting himself on the arm to say, this is how crazy I am. Like, don't fucking cheer me. This ain't my home. You want to come down to Atlantic City and you want to cheer me inside the bingo hall? That's fine.
But I think that was just he got sucked in.
He did. Moment. Absolutely. He absolutely did. But
that's
it goes
the biggest he's
crowd. Easily. I mean, you're talking about 10,000. Actually, like the match that he had was in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know, like so. Yeah, it was easily the biggest crowd he's been a part of. Like the shows that he does in Atlantic City are getting what 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, yeah, getting a 10,000 person crowd, it's saying something. The Miz really is the face that runs the place in WWE. Roman may be the one that has the big belt, but he can't do the same things as Miz can. That's not true. Roman easily could be the biggest babyface in the company right now if he wanted to be. Like, he is that good as a heel that all he has to do is that organic change into the person that everybody starts chanting with rather than chanting against.
Even now, he does get some Roman chants.
Oh,
and then when he says "acknowledge me," people are still
and they're cheering.
Yeah,
and he's like, "That's right, acknowledge me," and then they do, and you're like, "Mm-hmm." And aligning yourself with Paul Heyman means you're gonna get cheered anyway because Paul Heyman is gonna get cheered.
I think a lot of it too is.
Although we're supposed to be talking about Dynamite.
Right, I'm sorry. Last thing I'll say about this, I think too, they're giving him the freedom. They're not scripting him as much. They might give him bullet points, and they're actually letting him put personality. Instead of something, you know what I'm saying, what they want him to be, they're actually letting and I'm sure Paul has a big part of that, but they're finally letting him.
I think a lot of it too has to do with the time that he had off. And, you know, everybody was like, oh, he's trying to get healthy from cancer and everything. And then he went and filmed a movie with somebody named Dwayne, right?
He got COVID and he didn't want to work because he had the baby.
Well, but hold on. Not even that. The whole idea that, like, when he went and he hung out with his cousin was probably telling him, hey, man, when you're there, like make them eat out of your hands. Make them actually chant your name or chant against you, but get a reaction one way or the other. Because there was a long time where Roman wasn't getting any reaction at all. And Roman is a homegrown product.
Yes.
He is not going to go anywhere else.
No.
And if he does, it'll be because somebody really pisses him off somewhere. And if you notice, since he's come back, it hasn't been, hey, here's your script. This is what you're going to say. It's, what do you want to say? And then he goes out there and he says it, right? With Cody's pandering to the crowd is turning them off. And it's turning them off because if you look, everybody else in the elite, so everybody else he came in with, naturally turned heel. Naturally. They went from being baby faces for the first year and a half that AEW was going on to boom, they're heels. And it was a natural turn that everybody just was tired of them always winning.
Yeah.
So when
they turn heel and always win.
When you get tired of it and you want to start booing them, you have people win that you don't want to see win anymore. It's natural. What happened with Cody? Cody sits there and loses to a guy, then he gets his win back, then he loses to a guy, then he gets his win back. He literally is the epitome of what AEW fans hate. He's 50-50. Like, it's amazing to me. Malachi Black comes in. He sits there, and he's supposed to be the heel. He's beating up Cody's entire family, including his wife that just had a baby, and we're cheering.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost the Kane Dewey situation way back in the 90s when that guy was holding a sign and Mick Foley was like, you know what, fuck this place. And that's when he left to go to the WWE.
Yep.
You know, and started as a heel, became a babyface naturally because just has that natural feel. Anyways, I
think Cody might be. I'm sorry. I think Cody might be coasting on the dusty roads. You know what I'm saying? I think he thinks.
So the best promo that him and his wife ever got cut, unfortunately, from a Ring of Honor show where he sat there and the line was, where we're going, we don't need roads. And it was all about how he didn't get the rights to his last name.
Okay.
But it was also Back to the Future, right? So
Yeah.
it was a cool line. But where we're going, we don't need roads. And yet now he's got Cody Rhodes back. They fought for it. They got it, right? Like Tony Khan at the beginning of AEW was able to sit there and I guess pay Vince McMahon to get it, whatever the case was. You know, all closed door signings, whatever, that type of bullshit. But when you just know that when you see Cody right now, just like everybody else in the Elite, except for Hangman.
Yeah.
Because Hangman was the loner. He ended up going to the group that was the heels, but then they became the babyface.
Yeah.
So he naturally stayed a babyface the whole time, right? And we like it because he's just awkward enough to where you're like, I'm still going to cheer the bastard.
Yeah.
But yet with Cody, you know that he needs to turn heel. He needs it.
This one's like Cena. Cena won't turn heel.
Cena doesn't need it anymore. Cena literally worked through that, like midlife crisis. He worked through his heel turn, and he just never had to turn heel. But it was all the merch, right?
Yeah.
Look at Roman. Roman sits there, supposed to turn heel, or everybody keeps saying, turn him heel, turn him heel. But it's like, no, he sells too much merch. Goes away for 6 months, comes back. He's like, I want to be heel. And what did I say? The Rock sits there and says, stop letting them tell you what you're going to be. You're the biggest star in the company. You start telling them what you're going to be. Like, you get the old man's ear. You get to do what you want.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, look at his entire career.
Yeah.
Like, Shawn Michaels does not fit the bill of a Vince McMahon guy at all. Jericho barely got what he deserved in WWE. Like, and look at the end of his career at WWE. They're sitting there saying, "Hey, you're gonna go after the world title because of the Festival of Friendship," and then because Bill Goldberg comes in instead, it's like, "Hey, you moved to number 2 on the card." Yeah. He should have been the opener. He should have been the closer,
like Roman Reigns says.
Exactly, and that's because you know you're either going to be the heater for the rest of the show, or you're going to be the blow off at the end, and you got to be one or the other. And he easily put together the best story going into WrestleMania. And because Bill Goldberg was coming in, it was like, sorry, Chris. And because of that, I don't blame him for leaving.
Yeah.
Because look, he's literally put together probably the best 2 years of his career since 2009.
Yeah.
You know, when he was the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah.
And they had that great time with Shawn Michaels and everything. Yeah. So anyways, we can't leave the Dynamite talk without talking about how they finished the show, the Ghostbusters. Very, very easy to tell what was going to happen.
Especially when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man came out.
But I have a problem with it. And you knew I would, right? Yeah. It's all right, folks. Here's my problem with it. And I'll try not to make it a full rant, but it is going to be one. Hangman's feud is not with Matt Jackson.
Nope.
Hangman's feud is with Kenny Omega.
Yes.
So I don't care that Kenny Omega's not the one that gets hit with the whatever his finishing move is at the end of it.
Slings, was it?
The buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's not the one that doesn't get hit by it, but he should damn well be the one that's in the ring, turning around and being scared shitless.
Yes.
Like, what that's basically saying is Kenny Omega's not good enough for that spot, but Matt Jackson is. I totally...
Or Hangman's not good enough to go against Omega yet.
No. Hangman's going to win that title at Full Gear.
All right.
Like, that's almost a foregone conclusion.
Well, and you know, then Moxley's going to be next.
Moxley's going to be next in line. You're absolutely right.
I was thinking they probably, Hangman's got to win it, but I was thinking they'd probably bring that story full circle. Moxley wins everything, and he goes back and gets his belt back from Omega, who cheated him out of it.
So no, I think what's going to happen is Omega drops the belt to Hangman. He then goes into a full program with Bryan Danielson. And Moxley ends up going after Hangman, and that allows interaction of the two storylines without necessarily interaction of the two storylines. At the same time, though, like I said, my problem with this is that you sit there and you have Hangman look amazing in this spot where, you know, they end up finding out that Brandon Cutler is the one that's actually in the horse costume, which is great because he's tied up and, you know, can't say anything. So it's just like God, I want to say the movie was Trading Places. They took the moment out of Trading Places when the guy he's in the ape costume at the end of the movie.
Yes.
But he's got tape around his mouth and everything.
And they put him on the train.
And he's in there with a real gorilla. And he becomes
his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You haven't watched that movie,
go back and watch it.
And you want to know all about the GameStop stock price stuff, watch that movie. But so that's my problem with it is that this did not enhance the storyline between Hangman and Omega. It enhanced the storyline of Hangman versus the entire Elite. And that isn't what it's supposed to be at this point.
Okay. Agreed.
So there's that. All right. Sorry for the fingers in everybody's face. SmackDown.
Here we go.
SmackDown. Great show.
Flair came out, cut that promo, gave the little wink to the camera. What was that about?
I don't know.
And then called out anybody in the back.
Anybody but Sasha.
Yeah.
Anybody but. So who came out?
Sasha.
And
Shitty. Yeah, Shotzi.
Shotzi. And Shotzi gave probably her best performance to date.
And turned heel.
Yeah. Did she?
She beat the shit out of Sasha Banks.
Does that make her a heel?
Yeah, because I think they're trying to push Sasha now as a face.
And I think what it does is it gets Sasha out of the title picture for a little while. And now someone else is going to have to step up in that role, right?
And then it looks like it's going to be Shotzi.
No, Shotzi's going to go against Sasha now. So I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe Nox. Is she on SmackDown still?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be Nox.
I mean, she's talented enough to go out there. But anyways, there were still spots and problems with this match. The ending of it where Shotzi goes flying to hit Charlotte. Charlotte's already out of the way. And Shotzi comes up to almost hit Charlotte or Sasha and stops and says, "Oh, no, I didn't mean to." Like, you could see her running the ropes. Like, she's standing there. Just stop. Turn, look at your opponent. What's wrong with that? And how come Shotzi literally looked like she only had 3 moves of offense? Because it was, she tried to go for the stand-up enziguri. She tried to go for that weird butt thing on the ropes. Charlotte's a little bit smarter than some of the others. She's not going to fall for it twice.
And then she got the coffin drop.
So anyways.
She calls it the ball pit.
The ball pit. That's awesome. That's a good name for it.
She calls it the ball pit.
That's a good name. Sami Zayn giving a little speech backstage because they didn't put him on the card. Thought that was great. Because I'm telling you, he is the MVP of SmackDown. I don't care if anybody says that it's Roman Reigns. Everything that has come from the Banks overrated always has been. Thank you, Michael. I agree. But like Sammy has, he came back on the same show as Roman, and ever since then, there's been 2 bad episodes of SmackDown. 2. I'm totally fine with him getting a little spotlight stuff. The Naomi versus Shayna Baszler with Sonya Deville as the referee. I don't know if this is supposed to be pushing Shayna Baszler or if it's supposed to really be pushing a match between Naomi but Sonya better watch out, because where could Naomi end up?
With the bloodline. My favorite part of that is Pat McAfee. Oh, look, they happen to have a referee shirt. Oh, and it just happens to be her size. Pat McAfee on damn commentary cracks me
I think
up.
it was Michael Cole that actually said, and it just happens to fit. And then
McAfee.
Pat McAfee sits there and he's like, that's just a strange coincidence, Michael.
McAfee is coming to his own on
Dude,
commentary.
They show him every week when Shinsuke Nakamura's music hits
on the
and
table.
he climbs up and he just like puts his foot on Michael Cole's head and he's just like
balls in his face.
He's just teabagging him and stuff like a video game character, man. It's awesome. Fucking love it. I love the Caleb Braxton, Paul Heyman moment backstage. Paul. Now that you've heard that Brock Lesnar's been fined $1 million by Adam Pearce, what do you think? What's going through the mind of Brock? Caleb, do you think that I have anything to do with Brock? Well, you were his advocate for so long. Okay. Well, if I was advocating for Brock Lesnar,
and he went into it sound like he was defending Brock, then he caught himself.
And then he's like, but that's if I had any conversation with Brock.
I think when she walked up, he was kind of like, of course. Or he said something smart when she walked up to him. The chemistry of those two is awesome.
So you sent me a TikTok, and I'd already seen it because every TikTok you send me, I've already seen.
Well, I don't know that. You send me some I've seen too, so you'll be all right.
Some, not all.
I won't send you no more than bitch.
But of course, it's Caleb Braxton's Halloween costume, which if you didn't see it, folks, look it up on WWE.com. It just happened to be Paul Heyman.
And it's hilarious.
I mean, she's got this big fucking mouth.
And it's just her eyes.
And she doesn't look
got the suit.
She doesn't look anything like Caleb Braxton while she's wearing it either. But so we get the, to just finish up the SmackDown talk. Yeah. We get the coronation of Xavier Woods. Hit Row actually is like babyface now.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Or at least they're gonna start as babyfaces. Yeah. You know what I think's gonna happen?
I think because they were getting cheered when they left NXT.
You know what I think's gonna happen?
They're gonna go against the Bloodline.
I think what's gonna happen is Hit Row is gonna stay heel, but Xavier is gonna leave Kofi and go with them as the king. Because I think that the long-term plan should be that the hand of the king, like, ends up, the king gets jealous.
Yeah, but go with Hit Row.
I mean, they're sitting there singing the song about Xavier and everything. Like I could totally see it. Yeah. It doesn't have to happen that way, but I do think that the long-term plan. See you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for stopping by.
Have a wonderful night. Appreciate you coming by. Hit Row is going to be with. See, that's what I just said. Pat McAfee and Michael Cole is the. I mean, Michael Cole's having more fun now than he's had in years. Why are you going up instead of down?
Because
these are the newest ones.
We missed all of these.
Yeah, but you're going up. You should start here and come down.
Shut the fuck up. Next.
So we end up getting New Day versus the Bloodline, the Usos, and they announce it as the first time they faced each other because it's the king and his hand versus instead of like the 87th time we've seen these two teams go against each other. Now, granted, most of the time that it was the New Day, it was Big E and Xavier. Yeah. So it might actually be the first time that they faced each other in this situation. Yeah. But
I'm surprised that the New Day went over.
I wasn't. Right now, you're trying to establish that Xavier actually is in a high spot.
Got it.
And Kofi is a main event level caliber singles wrestler winning Wrestle Singles, and you and I both know that a great tag team should never be two great singles wrestlers.
True. But then the New Days are a great tag team though.
But yeah, and they're also a great tag team on top of that. So Rampage. We already started talking about this one, folks. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. Rumor is after this match, people left because it was already 10:30 at night.
Oh, I thought you said because it's not going to get any better than that. Wow.
Well, it's not.
No.
And Abaddon could scare the shit out of you. So
that, like I said, match of the week. That's my match of the week.
I mean, and I can't argue you with that. I can tell you that I had a different match of the week, but I probably would say that was my match of the week. There was so much storytelling told. There was back and forth, two baby faces wrestling different styles. The fact that those two styles shouldn't ever be near each other, and yet it worked. But that's the magic of Bryan Danielson, right? Like, he can wrestle any style, he can do anything in the ring, and he can make you believe. And his body apparently makes you believe even more than he does now, because his body said, I quit. And Bryan Danielson was still sitting there going, I got a little bit more left.
and at the end of that, Bryan Danielson was celebrating his win. He looked back and helped Kingston up.
He helped Kingston up, and Kingston wanted to give him a middle finger. Of course, Kingston was mad at the referee because he never gave up.
He didn't. He put the middle finger.
He's sitting there flipping the middle finger and passed out with the. But it wasn't like a middle finger. It was like it was like an Orange Cassidy middle finger. It was like, I can barely get this thing up, and I'm.
But it took me back to the Bret Hart Stone Cold, where Stone Cold never gave up, but passed out. It reminded me of that.
Yeah, too bad there wasn't any Ken Shamrock able to throw Bryan Danielson off of him, though, right? So, got more comments in there. So see, now you go to the bottom one. Shut the hell up. King Mabel was in a high spot for a little while there, but no, that not even close, Chris Barrett. Right now, Xavier is probably in the best single spot that he has been in WWE, except Paige.
But I think this is it. I don't think they're going to give him a title, like a world title. I don't. I would.
Did you miss what I said?
No. I
said it's the best single spot he's been in since Paige.
Well, I'm saying since Paige. I'm saying going further. Usually, the King of the Ring, they do go on to win a
Paige.
I'm done.
Folks, you're gonna see this.
No more. No more.
Like, which page did you think I was talking about?
I thought you meant. I forgot about that. I knew you were talking about Paige. I thought you were about, like, in wrestling. Then yeah. What did you say? See, Barry kind of. I'm tired. I didn't. It took me a minute.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Shit.
Guys, you didn't get to see like what I was trying to do to make him realize what I was talking about there. But I'm popped so hard.
That's nasty.
Ew. All right, we're professionals. We're not professionals.
Not after that, bitch.
I got the finger justice.
You did see it.
No, I went down here like this. Oh my god, I broke a sweat. Folks. Let me see if we can get this camera lined up a little bit. There we go. Whew. Oh my god, I'm crying.
I'm done.
Okay, that was at the hour and 23-minute mark. I'm gonna try to cut that for a TikTok because I think
it was before the hour and 20. That we left about that for a good 5 minutes.
Oh my god.
I ain't got nothing else. I'm done after that.
No. We got to talk about Raw.
I can't fucking. That was Raw. Got you. Get that one too.
It's gotta be put together. All right, so Monday Night Raw. I want to go ahead and say that there was one line in one promo that couldn't have possibly been scripted. And I'm going to let Tino try to figure out which one it was.
Was it in the Becky promo?
No.
Seth?
No. Yeah, this isn't compelling television anymore.
I'm trying to think of
Paige. No. No. Kevin Owens.
What did he say?
Kevin Owens said, it doesn't matter if I'm here for 3 more months.
Yes.
Or 3 more years.
Yes. And
I'm going to give my all to the WWE universe.
As soon as he said, I said, November, December, January. I did catch that because I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. No way was that line scripted.
I'm surprised they let it. Well, I'm sure he might have got some heat backstage.
No, dude. No, he is one of the few guys that is allowed to say what he wants. He's one of the few guys.
But they've got to know that people are putting 2 and 2 together. His contract's almost up.
Well, it might be something that's leading to a pipe bomb from him. Like, rumor is now he's going to turn heel, and guess what?
Still not going to win a championship.
Not going to win a championship. Not going to get him over as a heel because he has more turns than
I think
Xavier Woods. What was that other guy's name that was part of that?
That was it Stryker?
No, it wasn't Stryker. And I was gonna say Zach Gowen, but he was the guy with one leg.
I can see his. Who was that?
Paul, not Paul. Pete. Paul.
Well, I have to look it up.
Anyways,
finish the damn show. I want.
So the Kevin Owens segment though.
Yeah.
And then he had, like, this would have been my match of the week. Him and Big E was excellent. Until the end when, like, why the hell is Big E sitting there saying, I don't care. Big ending. Like here you have Kevin Owens, the babyface, sitting there saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And, like, Big E's like, I don't care. And got no reaction from the crowd.
I just know that they're going to get that belt to fucking Seth Rollins, and what I think, and Seth Rollins is going to get that belt.
Now, Seth Rollins is the heater.
Who's going to get the belt, man?
I mean, Big E. Big E's going to hold it for a little while.
Okay. I think they want
right now. I don't think they're going to do the standard Roman versus Big E match. I think they're going to do New Day versus Bloodline, okay. Because then it allows Roman's team to lose the match.
Okay.
You know, so I think Survivor Series, you're going to have that. So more turns than X. I was going to say Big Show, but yeah. Pete was the fiance. I don't think it was Pete.
That wrestler.
And then he says Edge is going to get the belt. I don't know. Right now, I think early talk would probably be Brock Lesnar comes in and invades the Royal Rumble and wins, so he gets his match against you. I don't know what that is. Was that yours?
Text next door.
Well, no, it was outside. It was in the parking lot. But let me make sure mine's locked. I can't remember what his name was.
I'm looking. Let's see if I can find it. Keep talking.
Why don't you take us out of the show first? Nothing really else to talk about from Monday Night Raw. It was a 3-hour program.
Oh, no, I don't want to throw that. No.
Hmm?
Because that's what it's trying to take me to. I don't want to go there. That's all I need is somebody to pull that up. And I was trying to figure out the...
Anyways, come on, man.
Anyway. Yeah, that's
nothing really else to talk about from Monday Night Raw. I just wanted to talk about that one moment. Like 8 seconds of the entire 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Actually, hold on. Michael was actually talking about the Becky Lynch stuff, and of course, we did finally get to see a new person start challenging her.
You don't think that she's going to win?
Liv Morgan? No, I'm hoping it elevates her to where you actually think that she could win like Money in the Bank next year. What about that JBL podcast? I didn't hear it. So Chris, if you wanna enlighten us with what happened during the JBL podcast, we can speak on it a little bit. But you gotta make it quick, because otherwise we got bad air going.
Yeah. The Becky, I really didn't think that that Bianca was going to win that match, which I hate, because I think they're going to try to have Becky hold that belt. I'm scared they're going to probably hold it to WrestleMania.
Very possible. No, I do not. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because I just don't have a lot of spare time. And Tino already doesn't like me listening to Busted Open because it influences some of what we talk about. So that's why I don't listen to 83 Weeks. I don't listen to the Jericho podcast
I used
anymore.
to listen to all of them.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Jericho podcast. In fact, like all the people leaving Ring of Honor, I'm sure he's going to have some good people on there in the next couple weeks. Not to mention, I mean, like 90-day contract or 90-day contracts are up now. So what are you doing?
Trying to get how do you get the comments off and go back to our choices of.
You hit banners. Yeah. And then you scroll down to
that's what.
Good night, everybody. Subscribe to the show.
I was looking for buy the shirt bitches, but you didn't put that.
I didn't put that on there. I wouldn't put buy the shirt bitches.
That's what you had, and I said we shouldn't put that on there.
I did not put
I made
bitches.
You erase it. I made him erase
You
it.
are so full of shit. I literally said I won't sit there and put that. They had the Good Father on this week. Okay.
Well, folks, that's about it. Like I said, Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still sweating.
I can't think of anything. Yeah, after that, I can't think of anything else. Thank you.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest pop we've had on this show.
That was a good five minutes of just laughing. But thank you for coming to the show. Make sure you buy the t-shirts. You can check this fool out on the on the Twitter machine. He is Potcheck. I'm HootieFan91. You can check him out on the Insta. He is Rob Potcheck. And I am SC Tino. You can check him out on Twitch. Not Twitch, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, Twitch is
Twitch and TikTok.
It's Rob Potsy Potcheck.
Rob Potsy Potcheck.
All right. We want to say thank you as always to
Adam's House Cat
for our theme song, which is the wrestling song. You can get that on iTunes for 99 cents.
Yeah.
And I don't know. As always, we hear Ric Flair.
Yeah, we do.
And he is saying, He
is saying,
woo! Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Rob wasn't ready. Okay, maybe he was. I'll do this on the air. Can I do it?
See you next week. They can still hear us. You know that, right? I know that's why I stopped. See you, Chris Barrett. See the light.